The first thing Elias noticed about the station Keros 9 was the silence. It wasn't the peaceful kind. It was heavy, as if the metal walls themselves were holding their breath. The second thing he noticed was her. She stood near the observation window, tall and still, her silhouette outlined by the distant glow of a dying red star. Her species, Volari, were known across the coalition for their beauty and their danger. Pale, opalescent skin traced with faint bioluminescent veins, eyes like fractured crystal, and a reputation that made even veteran soldiers uneasy. Elias adjusted the strap of his travel bag and cleared his throat. "I'm here for the xenolinguistics post," he said, breaking the silence. She turned slowly. When her eyes met his, he felt it, that strange pressure behind the ribs, as if gravity had shifted. "I know," she replied. Her voice was calm, melodic, and guarded. "I am Esethira, station liaison." They shook hands. Her grip was light, almost hesitant. Everyone had warned him about the Volari. They manipulate emotions. They drain life. They never tell the whole truth. Elias had listened, nodded, and still signed the contract. Humanity had joined the Galactic Coalition only decades ago, and someone had to take the posts no one else wanted. Keros 9 was one of them. Over the following weeks, Elias learned the rhythms of the station. He translated ancient alien scripts, helped mediate disputes between species that barely tolerated each other, and slowly, unexpectedly, got to know Esethira. She was distant at first. Polite. Professional. But cracks appeared in the armor. She lingered when their work was done. Asked questions about Earth, about oceans, music, rain. She watched old human films with an intensity that felt almost painful. Sometimes, when she thought he wasn't looking, her bioluminescent veins dimmed, like a candle running out of wax. Other beings avoided her. Elias noticed that too. One evening after a long shift, he finally asked, "Why does everyone keep their distance from you?" Esethira froze. The lights above them hummed softly. Outside the viewport, stars drifted by like scattered embers. "You should not concern yourself with that," she said. But her voice trembled. The truth came sooner than Elias expected. It was during a system-wide power fluctuation. Emergency lights flooded the corridor in crimson as alarms wailed. Elias was thrown against the wall, his vision swimming. When he regained focus, Esethira was there, kneeling beside him, her hands glowing fiercely as she pressed them to his chest. Pain vanished instantly. Too instantly. He gasped, sitting upright. What did you just do?" She recoiled as if struck. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I did not mean for you to see." The alarms faded. The power stabilized. But something else had changed. Esethira stood, her glow flickering violently now. "You must leave the station," she said urgently. "Request reassignment. Immediately." Elias stared up at her. "Why?" She turned away, her shoulders rigid. "Because if you stay, you will hate me." They met later in the observation chamber, the red star casting long shadows across the floor. Esethira stood with her back to him, hands clenched. "I am Volari," she began, "but not as you understand us." Elias remained silent. "Our kind does not simply influence emotions," she continued. "We feed on life energy, not always fatally, but always permanently. Every healing, every comfort, every bond costs something." Elias's mind raced back to the moment in the corridor, the instant recovery, the warmth he had felt. "I took some of your life force," she said softly. "A fragment. You will live a full life, but it will be shorter." The words hit like a physical blow. She turned to face him, tears, actual tears, sliding down her luminous cheeks. "I have done this before.
I try not to.
But when I care, I fail. And when they learn the truth, they leave. Or worse. Her voice broke. Now you know. And I will understand when you go. Silence filled the chamber. Essathira braced herself for disgust. For fear. For hatred. It had always come before. Elias sat down slowly on a nearby bench. Do you know how many humans die every day? He asked quietly. She blinked, confused. What? Back home, he said. People die from accidents. From illness. From choosing to protect someone else. We're used to life being fragile. She stared at him. You saved me, he continued. You didn't ask. You didn't calculate the cost. You acted because you cared. That does not make it right, she whispered. Maybe not, Elias said. But it makes it human. Her glow flickered uncertainly. He stood and walked toward her, stopping an arm's length away. You didn't steal something precious from me, Asra. You reminded me it was precious. She searched his face desperately. You are not afraid? I am, he admitted. But not of you. Her knees buckled, and she sank to the floor, sobbing openly now. Elias knelt beside her, unsure if he should touch her. After a long moment, she leaned into him anyway. For the first time in centuries, Essathira allowed herself to be held. The months that followed were different. Word spread, quietly, that the human knew and had stayed. Some species were scandalized. Others intrigued. A few even hopeful. Essathira changed too. She grew more cautious, learning to restrain her abilities. Elias felt no further weakening, only a strange warmth whenever she was near, a reminder of something shared, not stolen. They spoke often about the future. There may come a day, she said once, when my nature harms you again. Elias smiled. There may come a day when mine does too. They stood together beneath the fading red star, watching its final flare before collapse. A symbol, Elias thought, not of death, but of transformation. When the coalition offered Elias reassignment again, he declined. His superiors were baffled. You understand the risks? They asked. Yes, Elias replied simply. Better than ever. Years later, when Kairos 9 was decommissioned, they left together. Essathira had once believed herself a monster, doomed to isolation by what she was. Humanity had taught her something different, that morality was not defined by nature but by choice. And Elias had learned that love was not the absence of cost, but the willingness to pay it. As their ship jumped into hyperspace, Essathira rested her head on his shoulder. You stayed, she said softly, even knowing everything. Elias squeezed her hand. You revealed your darkest secret, he replied. And I saw someone worth staying for. The stars stretched into brilliant lines of light. And for the first time, neither of them feared the future.